Hey mathematicians! Today we're going to do something that we practiced in math talks last week. We're going to ask math questions about a story. So in the last 2 days, we learned that first we have to summarize a word problem. Then we have to ask ourselves, what are the units and quantities? And the next thing we'll do after that is we'll ask questions. Now a lot of you, when you put your work on Seesaw, you said something like, so he could buy 2 peanut butter cookies and 1 chocolate cookie, or he could buy 3 chocolate cookies if he didn't buy anything else, or the peanut butter cookies cost $2 more than the chocolate cookie. So you guys went a little ahead of summarizing and you were starting to answer questions. But you might have noticed that in this story, there were no question marks. There was no question. We didn't have one yet. So today, we're going to learn how to think of math questions. So here's an example. So in this story, at the shelter, there are 11 cats and some dogs. First thing I do, I summarize. Okay, so in this story, there's an animal shelter, they have some cats and some dogs. Okay. Number 2, I think about the quantities. So 11 is a quantity. Some is a quantity, and the units. In this story, the units are cats and dogs. And now it's time to think of a math question. So pause the video for a second until you're ready in your head with a math question about this story. All right, so I bet many of you asked a question that's not actually a math question, and that's okay. It's super important in math to ask all kinds of questions. But sometimes you want to ask a certain kind depending on the activity you're doing. So some of you probably asked a curiosity question, like, did the dogs bark? What color was the cat? And those might be good to know for some reasons. But today I really want to focus in on math questions. So a math question is something like, are there more dogs or cats? How many dogs and cats are there altogether? Those are questions I can solve by adding or subtracting or multiplying or comparing 2 numbers. So that's a math question, and that's what we want to do today. On Seesaw, you're going to write a math question for this story. Could be any math question, but you have to be able to solve it using the information right here in the story. After you're done, take a second to look at other people's questions. Did you notice someone write something similar? Something different? Which question did you find interesting? And you can always make a comment on their post. I know I love getting comments, it makes me happy, and I bet other people feel the same. So on Seesaw, go ahead and write your math question for this story.